Okay, good evening everyone and welcome back to the training. We are launching the Comcell console. Any questions on what we have learned so far? How to install Commvault, we have learned the various components. We have learned how to install a client agent. We have learned how to start backups, how to do partial restores, how to do a full VM restore. We have learned how to set up DR backup. We have learned how to set up deduplication database. We have learned storage policy configuration, uh, so on and so forth, right? So, any questions on any of these topics? We have also learned how to add a disk library or a backup target to a media agent. Any questions on these things? No? Okay. So, Saptashi, you have access to that virtual environment, our,
No,
our on-prem lab?
sir.
No? Okay. Okay. Fine. Not an issue. So, today, uh, we will try to see if we can uh, do a backup of this one, virtual machine as a whole. Now, whatever you have learned, it's a file level backup, right? So, we have to learn how to take a virtual machine backup as a whole. Now, for that, the configuration and settings are a little different because the Commvault software has to speak to the hypervisor layer, and only then it will be able to do it. So, Bhanu, in one of your virtual machines, can you enable Hyper-V? Is that possible?
I need to check.
Yeah, you have installed Windows Server, right?
Yeah,
So you should be able to enable Hyper-V, right? Not on the ComServe machine. Don't do on ComServe.
just no, sir. I'm just checking the roles. Yeah,
Yeah. So do it on another machine. And anyways, on this master server or ComServe, we already have uh, installed the required software to do virtual machine backups. So we will use that. And I'll explain the concept also. Yeah. Can you go ahead and add a Hyper-V role to this? In the meanwhile, while you do this in the background. So guys, do you all know how to make a Windows server uh, into a virtual environment?
so it does not have required virtualized capabilities.
You have not enabled hyper-threading at BIOS level.
Yeah,
Hmm. Can you enable that?
yeah, this one, right. Right channel migration. I think this is our right channel migration. Is not
Not migration, that is
not this.
integration.
Sure, I think I have the ESXi.
So why do you need ESXi?
You can use it as a VMware hypervisor also.
But you have enough resources.
We can run it with like 4 GB or something. I reduce the main comps of RAM.
Okay, do it. In the meanwhile, let me explain the concept. Okay, just give me 1 second. Let me pull it up. The reading material. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I know it's a little blurry, um, but can you read through? Can you all read through?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is a very high level architecture design of how virtual machine environment can be backed up as a whole. Okay. Now, I think all of you know what a virtual machine is. Anybody who doesn't know what a virtual machine is? Okay. Athar, can you tell me what is a virtual machine?
Ah. Uh, v- Virtual machine means एक मिनट uh, using the operating the multiple systems on the same hardware where the virtual means by the help of the virtual machines we can see means exactly sir I'm not able to say it,
Hmm.
but
Okay.
how we can say that means with this single set
It
of
is,
hardware we can operate
hmm,
multiple OS on them.
yes. So it is slicing the hardware resources into multiple parts so that each virtual machine can use simultaneously use a slice of the CPU, a slice of the memory, a slice of the hard disk, a slice of the network, so on and so forth. Okay. And the software that or the kernel that allows you to do that slicing is called as a hypervisor. Okay. The software that allows you to slice a hardware, server class hardware, is called a hypervisor. So the most popular hypervisors are VMware, Hyper-V, then Nutanix Acropolis, then Red Hat Virtual Environment, OpenStack, Proxmox. All these are called hypervisors. Okay. And once you install a hypervisor, it will allow you to create virtual machines on top of it. All right. And as Athar mentioned correctly, virtual machines, each virtual machine can have different operating systems and different kind of configuration with respect to CPU, memory, network, and hard disk. Okay. Now, uh, in a given data center environment, you can have different types of hypervisors running simultaneously on the same network. There could be few virtual machines on Hyper-V, there could be few virtual machines on VMware, but the customer's expectation would be that whatever be the kind of virtual machine, you should be able to back it up using Commvault or any other backup software, right? So how does a backup software like Commvault achieve this? It achieves it by installing something called as proxy. Now you all know about Zabbix proxy, right? Think of a Commvault proxy to be a similar thing. Okay, it's nothing but a small software and a group of services that can be installed, which will on one side communicate to the source environment, which is nothing but the hypervisor or the virtual machine environment, and on the destination side it will talk to the backup software. Now what inside the backup software? Two things. It will talk to the master server, of course, for control traffic, and for the actual data transfer it will talk to the media agent, okay, or the data mover. In Commvault, this proxy is called as VSA proxy, where VSA stands for virtual server agent. Okay, we have already seen how to install a client agent. Now this is a different kind of an agent called as a virtual server agent, VSA. Now the VSA for VMware is different. The VSA for Hyper-V is different. The VSA for Acropolis is different. Just like how we have different client agents for Windows, different client agent for Linux. Similarly, for every kind of hypervisor, you will have a different kind of a VSA, okay, VSA proxy. Now, what you have to do is you have to install this VSA somewhere, okay. For large environments, we request the customer to give us a dedicated VM or a dedicated physical machine on which we can install this VSA proxy. And VSA proxy is a pass-through device or a pass-through virtual machine or a pass-through proxy machine. No data is permanently stored there. Okay. And hence, you can have just one in an environment, depending upon the sizing, of course. But if the customer wants redundancy, that even VSA, if it fails, still virtual machine backups should run, then you can install multiple VSA proxies for a given hypervisor environment. Okay. So there is no restriction on how many VSA proxies and how many types of VSA proxies you can have in an environment. Any questions? Any questions?
A virtual environment.
No, sir, not right now.
Okay. Now, uh, so when you're installing a virtual agent like this, you have to give certain credentials of this virtual environment which you're trying to protect, okay, to this VSA proxy and ultimately to the Commvault software. Okay. And once you provide the necessary credentials and once you open the respective TCP ports, this VSA agent will get the capability and access to go and scan the entire virtual environment and identify the complete environment. When I say environment, I'm talking about the hardware resources, the hypervisor version, how many virtual machines are there in it, the name and configuration of each and every virtual machine, everything, okay, about that virtual environment will be understood by Commvault. Okay. And once it understands and does a complete scan of the environment, it will allow you to start communicating with that environment and start configuring the backups for it. Okay. Once you scan the environment, once the VSA proxy has scanned the environment, it has identified all the virtual machines inside that environment. Okay. It will allow you to start configuring the backups for this environment. Okay. And we have seen earlier that once you start a backup job in Commvault or in any other backup software, it goes through certain phases. Okay. What are those phases? First, it will scan what needs to be backed up. Then, if you have enabled deduplication or compression, it will do that. Then it will start transferring, bytes of data across multiple streams from the agent to the media agent. And then media agent will do deduplication and then write it to whatever your backup target is. Correct? Very similarly, when you are configuring backups for a virtual environment, similar stages are followed. The first stage is communicate with the management server of that virtual environment. Okay. In VMware, it's called vCenter. In Hyper-V, it's called Hyper-V Manager. In Acropolis, it's called the master VMs. In RHVE, there is some other name. Okay, like this. Okay. Every virtual environment will have a management virtual machine. So the virtual server agent of Commvault will go and communicate with that management VM. Okay. And it will say, you start giving me all the data about this particular VM which I'm backing up now, or these many VMs which I'm backing up together. Okay. You can do both. You can back up multiple virtual machines at the same time, or you can back up each individual machine separately. Both you can do. Okay. So first we will learn the with terminology and context of VMware. The same thing will get applied to Hyper-V and other hypervisors as well. Okay, no difference. The low-level settings may change, but conceptually it's the same thing. So the stage one, communicate with the vCenter or the management VM of that virtual environment. The second stage, locate that exact VM or the VMs which you want to protect or which you want to back up and later recover. Now, we all know that while taking a backup, it has to read the data. And once it starts reading the data, it will give you that particular point in time. And we have seen how that point in time or timestamp is extremely important in some of our previous classes. Now, if I start taking backup of a virtual machine which is running, obviously that virtual machine is doing reads and writes. It is doing configuration changes. Some application is running on it, maybe like Nginx, maybe Zabbix is running on it. Okay, we don't know. So you cannot ask the customer to shut down the VM whenever we are taking a backup of it, right? It's unacceptable because shutting down a VM is equivalent to downtime. So while taking a backup, you cannot take downtime. It has to happen online. So what is the mechanism that we have in order to keep the virtual machine running as is, but at the same time get a consistent point in time copy of the data so that we get a consistent copy from where you can recover. So what it does is at the virtual machine level, it will take a snapshot. Okay, it will like take a snapshot. Snapshot is like taking a photograph of your data. If you have gone through my fundamental class on YouTube, which I've asked everyone to do, you should understand what a snapshot is. Once it takes a snapshot, it or just parallelly, it will do something called as quasing, okay, the VM. Now, what does quasing mean? Quasing means temporarily, for a very brief amount of time, it will not write anything to the disk. Okay, it will only keep writing to the cache. It will be just a few milliseconds, maybe 2 to 3 milliseconds, maybe. And in that gap, it will go and take a snapshot of the complete virtual machine. What is there in the memory of that virtual machine? What is there in the hard disk? What is there in the cache? Everything. Okay. It will take a snapshot. And once the snapshot is taken successfully, it will release this hold, which it has on the incoming IOs on that virtual machine. Okay. So this brief process of holding the input output operations, or called as IOPS, on that VM to take a consistent snapshot is called as quasing. Okay, this process is called as quasing. And once the snapshot is taken, it will release the quase, or it will release the hold on the IOs, and the backup software or the VSA agent will start reading data from the snapshot of the VM that it has taken. Okay, and that will include everything about that VM, right? The name of the VM, all the operating system settings on that VM, what is there in the cache, what is there in the memory. When I say cache, all three caches, L1 cache, L2 cache, L3 cache. Okay, then what is there on the disk, what is there on multiple disks in that VM. Okay, in VMware, all the virtual disks that are mounted into the VM are denoted by .vmdk file. Okay, so it will be able to read the contents through the snapshot of all the VMDK files, which means all the disks on that VM. Okay, and then once it starts reading, as we have seen in the job controller of Commvault, you will see those multiple streams of data coming in from the snapshot of the VM, going all the way to the media agent. And in the media agent, whatever processing needs to be done, it will be done and it will write to the backup target. Okay. So this is the step-by-step process that happens in the background when we are taking backups of a virtual environment using Commvault. Any questions?
I just have one. So in VMware, if we try to take a backup, I was just trying to take a snapshot of it.
Hmm.
Do we have to we have to power off the system first?
Yes.
Yeah. I just wanted to confirm on
And
that because I
and
saw
yeah,
that
and
some.
VMware tools also need to be installed.
Okay.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
this sounds, yeah, this looks a much
So
better
there
way
are
to take
certain,
a snapshot.
yeah, there are certain prerequisites. Okay. So you will be able to get those prerequisites from Commvault documentation. Okay, which is here.
Oh, okay.
So once you go to Commvault documentation, one second, let me. Okay, see, these are all the hypervisors it supports, even cloud hypervisors it supports. Okay.
Yeah.
See, there are certain prerequisites for Azure Local, for Hyper-V, okay, for Nutanix, HV, for OpenStack, OVM, RHVE, VMware, okay. See here, VMware does not support snapshots for virtual machines containing SCSI adapters, okay. So there are certain, yeah, there are certain, prerequisites that you have to follow.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before you begin, what and all you need to do, okay. Then
Right.
what kind of credentials are required? Everything is, mentioned
Right.
in the documentation.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and then port requirements will also be there. And something amazing about Commvault. Uh, Let us say that the source environment from where you had taken the backup is VMware. But when you want to restore it, you can restore a VMware VM into Hyper-V also, into AWS also, into
Hmm.
Azure also, into OVM also, into RHV also. And you do not have to worry about how Commvault is going to do the conversion. Commvault has got that intelligence to do it. And hence, we have personally used Commvault even for virtual machine migration projects as well. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll give you a small example. Just wait a minute. Let me stop sharing. Okay. So in one of my previous organizations, all of you know Walmart, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So Walmart was trying to migrate from VMware to Nutanix. Okay. So Nutanix has its own tool, but they were not very comfortable because any which ways before migration, you have to take a backup. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the method that we proposed was let's use Commvault. So we took a backup of their virtual machine environment, VMware environment using Commvault. But while doing the restore and recovery, we recovered it into Nutanix. So you won't believe for 250 virtual machines with just 4 hours of downtime, you are able to finish the migration. Now, I'm not saying the entire project was 4 hours. Okay. But the customer had to take a downtime of only 4 hours. That was only for cutover of user traffic from VMware to the Nutanix environment. Similarly, just I think last year or last to last year in 2024, Bhanu Teja and myself, we did a project for Apotex Pharma. They had a requirement of recovering or restoring on-prem Nutanix virtual machines directly into Azure cloud. That too in an isolated environment in Azure cloud. Okay. And we were able to successfully do that using Commvault with complete automation. That means single click recovery into Azure. So you choose a VM, you click recover, automatically that VM will come up in Azure with all the settings. Okay. So that's how powerful this concept of virtual machine backup and recovery is with respect to Commvault. Very few backup softwares or recovery softwares in the world can do what Commvault can do with respect to virtual machine backups and recovery. Okay. So please pay utmost attention to this. We can use this for, God knows how many use cases. Okay. Even I have used it for service providers also, like NetMagic, Sifi, Airtel, controllers. Okay. UST Global. Okay. UST Global was my customer earlier. We used this feature of Commvault to actually set up disaster recovery of having the ability to recover in a DR site without using any third party DR software. Okay. And bringing down of course, the RPO will not be close to zero, but because first it has to take a backup and then only it will allow you to recover. But we were very close. We came to very close to about 2 hours RPO, which was okay with them. Okay. Because the same software, backup software, doubling up as a DR software also. So you didn't have to buy another DR software. Okay. So extremely powerful concept, and hence please pay attention to this. We can use this in multiple ways. Any questions? Okay, Bhanu, do you have it ready?
No, sir.
Is it going to take
Not
time?
yet. It will take time, sir.
Okay, so let's have it ready for the next class.
Sure, sir.
Uh, until then, just open the ComServe. I will just show them the software settings. Please share your screen.
Yes. Just
Yeah. Let's log into the master server. You can close the other VMs if this is getting slow. You can shut down the other VMs, Manu. Check the services. Can anyone tell me which service we need to restart? See, wait. You saw that error message? How important system time is? Anyways, you can see it in the recording later. Okay. So close this window. Yeah. Go to control panel. And uh, okay, first we show this one, right? The software. Yeah, close this. Okay, go to tools, install software. Yeah, click on install software. We'll not do it, we'll just show. Go to install software. Yeah, click next. Yeah, so here you have to choose whether you're installing the VSA proxy on Windows or on Unix or Linux. So we'll choose Windows now. Click on next. You can manually select the computer. Click on next. Yeah, you have to enter a host name. You can say select from existing clients on the right hand side, because we just want to show you how or what software to be selected. Can you select from existing clients?
not required, sir.
Ah,
Can go
okay.
back.
Click on next. Here you have to give the credentials of the machine on which you would be installing the VSA proxy server. Okay, yes. Here you see that virtualization folder at the bottom. Scroll down a little, bring it to the center of the screen. Yeah. No, I'm saying scroll down in this window. Yes. So you see virtualization there. Under virtualization, you have the first option called virtual server. So we have to choose that. So select that. Okay. The moment you choose virtual server, go up, you see something else got selected. VSS provider. So this VSS provider is the one which will allow you to take those snapshots. And since we chose Windows, VSS is applicable only for Windows, right? Virtual shadow copy service. Okay, it's applicable only for Windows. So these got automatically selected, and this is the one which will allow us to take the snapshots of the virtual machines. Clear? Now you can click on next. And you can select any one of the storage policies, or yeah, you can just say next here. Okay. Yeah, you can select all the installer flags, whatever is needed. And these are the other optional settings. Click on next. If there is a firewall, how to bypass it. Okay. And when you want to run this job. Okay, we are not going to run it. Okay, that's it. So very simple, just like how you would, install this one, any other agent, the process is almost the same. Okay, there is no much difference here. Now, once it is installed, how will it look like? Let us see that. So click on cancel here. Yeah. Now on the left hand side, expand client computers. On the left hand side, yes. Go to the ComServe machine, the same machine as this one. Okay. Yeah, you see there virtual server got added. So once you install this VSA under that client computer, you will be able to see this virtual server. Okay. So Bhanu, can you expand that virtual server? So since this is a Windows machine, you see that Windows logo there. The virtual server will allow us to configure for Hyper-V. Okay. If you would have installed the virtual server for ESX, then that respective logo will change accordingly. Okay. Yeah, right click on that virtual server. Go to properties. Nothing much here. Go to security. There you can add the user, then activity control, enable backup, enable restore. Okay, cancel. Now we right click on this one, on the empty space on the right hand side. Does it allow us to, yeah, all tasks? No. Since the virtual server is not actually installed, it is not allowing us to do a discovery of the VMs. Otherwise, you will be able to see the list of VMs and then start doing configuration. So We will be learning that once our setup is ready for the same. Okay. Any questions? Nothing? Okay. So done then. Once our lab environment is ready, then we will come back and we will continue with this virtual server configuration. Okay.
Sure. So any updates on when would the lab be ready? Like a tentative date or something?
Saptashi, somehow your voice is not clear here.
Sorry. Yeah. What I was asking was like, are there any tentative period when we'll have the lab ready, the office one?
Hey, it should be ready. The other day, Friday, Rajiv sir said, no, that 1 second.
Sure, sir.